Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone is still awake. It's been a long day. It is a very last session, so... it is a very last session, so I'm glad to see quite a few people still here. So I'm delighted to present to you today our latest report on the future of work in travel and tourism, a very hot topic for the sector. So this report examines the trends related to the future of workforce and opportunities, drawing on global survey, interviews, as well as data modeling. The report was a great collaboration between the Ministry of Tourism of Saudi Arabia, Coraggio Group, Mars Partnership, and the Hong Kong Polytechnic University as well. So our sector is a global powerhouse for growth. In 2024, it supported 357 million jobs, 10% of all jobs globally. And over the next decade, the sector is set to create 91 million new jobs. That's 1 in 3 of all jobs globally. But in order to capitalize on this opportunity, we have to solve challenges with regards to skills and labor. But before I delve in some of the results, just some of the context first. During COVID, our sector was devastated. 70 million jobs were lost in 2020 alone. This then led to staff shortages in a period, post-pandemic period, when businesses were ready to hire again. And even today, when employment levels are back to the pre-pandemic levels, we are seeing staff shortages in many industries of the sector, including hospitality, for professions such as chefs, as well as housekeeping staff, for instance. Then another challenge, which is specific to advanced economies, to higher income economies, is aging and declining working age populations, which is having an impact, a negative impact on the available labor supply. In addition, tourism growth is outstripping the overall economy and the available labor supply. And then there are, of course, technological advances, rapid rise of AI, and our survey result shows that there is a significant gap when it comes to technological and digital literacy skills amongst workers. As part of our research, we conducted the forecasting analysis looking at demand and supply projections for labor until 2035 for the next decade ahead, trying to determine the gap between the two. And the results are striking, alarming in fact. We are projecting over 43 million job vacancies, which are also opportunities over the next decade, representing a 16% gap between demand and supply. 20 million of these 43 million will be for lower skilled jobs. And some of the key reasons behind these shortages is that travel and tourism growth is outstripping overall economy, as well as available labor supply, therefore creating gaps, as well as then we also have aging population, which I mentioned before, which is having an impact on the overall labor supply. As part of our survey, we asked the respondents what they thought were key skills in terms of the importance for the next decade, as well as what they think are the biggest gaps. We looked at 3 different types of roles. We looked at managerial roles, customer-facing, and operational roles. And you can see some of the skills here: creative thinking, for instance, critical thinking, analytical skills, resilience, flexibility, and leadership and management as well. And common thread across all types of roles is the lack of technological and digital literacy. There are opportunities for the sector, but in order to seize these opportunities, we have to tackle labor shortages and skills shortages. We need to attract young talent by promoting the sector. We need to provide leadership programs and clear promotion pathways in order to boost retention. We have to harness technology to boost productivity. And we have to enhance labor mobility across borders and within borders by, for instance, providing favorable visa regimes. We have to tackle skill shortages by strengthening links between education and business, expanding qualification, and providing lifelong learning for all the employees. So our sector is a powerhouse for global growth, and it provides opportunities for millions of people around the world. With the right forward planning, as well as by investing in skills, labor, and technology, we can ensure that our sector remains resilient and future-ready. So I'll pause here for now. I think I was in 5 minutes, hopefully.
You're marvelous. Thank you very
Perfect.
much. Thank you, Nejc. To comment these figures and these insights, I'd like to ask Anne Lothar, who is Executive Director of the GTTP, and Jean-Michel Chapuis, Dr. Jean-Michel Chapuis, who is Professor at the Panthéon-Sorbonne, to join me. But my first question would be a follow-up of your research to Nejc. I'd like to see and to know from your research more precisely what are the skills and how can you quantify them that you have seen in your surveys.
Sure. So I think on one of my slides I showed what the key skills are for different job roles. Mm-hmm. So some of the common skills emerging were resilience, lifelong learning, flexibility, critical thinking, problem solving, and these are some of the skills that have to be taught from a very young age. And I think GTTP here is doing a great job in teaching those skills, and I think that's great. And also, and then we also have digital skills that are needed across all roles.
It sounds like these skills are not belonging to the travel and tourism industry only. And what strikes me, most of them are very, very close to the skills demanded by the care sector. So it's interesting to see that there are bridges between different sectors.
Yeah. Travel and tourism really is a combination of different industries. I think there's a common misperception amongst, amongst other people about travel and tourism just being about hospitality. But it really offers jobs for engineers, lawyers, chefs, economists.
So we can consider maybe that tourism and travel and tourism is a lab for the other sectors. Could be. It's not the position we have taken. We're not the lab sometimes. So I have now a question to Anne. Anne, how do you feel education systems are teaching those same skills or not?
Yeah, I think this is a very poor area, and we focus on 16 to 19-year-olds because when you think about when is the cycle starting of somebody considering getting into a job in travel and tourism, it's not actually at 18 because by then they're inundated and they possibly have even chosen their route into work or into further education. So we start at 16 with them. And when I go to schools and I look at what they deliver in the schools, what is really evident to me is so many of the structure of teaching travel and tourism at school level is poor. It's often around geography. It's very heavily focused on data and information, and it's not really about the sector at all. And when you ask the teaching staff, where have you come from? What is your origin? Often they're from elsewhere, and they've been asked to come in and teach this sector. And I think there's a lot we can do, actually, at high school in the education system. And what Nate was saying a moment ago, we ought to be teaching every single young person these skill sets because they're very transferable, and if we get those right, they will take them into whatever industry they choose to go in further on down in their career.
What strikes me is also that these skills are not carried from one part of the travel and tourism sector to another part. For instance, from hospitality to the airlines. There are similar skills needed, and nobody's really think about joining one or the other sector.
No, so we have a core program which is called Passport to the World, and it's an introduction to travel and tourism. And we try to introduce our students to every sector. For us, it's a very complex eco sector that we all work in, but we have an understanding of it. When they come at 16, they have no understanding of it. So by introducing them to those different sectors and cross-fertilizing that learning and the soft skills learning, those kinds of skills that they can take on with them, I think is valuable at any age earlier in the education process.
One question to Nejc. Are the sectors cooperating within WTTC on these purposes just to share the skills.
Is to share what, sorry?
Skills and
Yes, of
people
course.
and employees.
Well, I'm
It's a
trying to
question
remember.
for you because you are in
It's a
WTTC.
So what was the exact question?
The question is the different part of the sector, I mean airlines, cruise, hospitality, hotels and so on, are they cooperating together to develop these skills and to share them?
I think we should do more of that. I don't think there is enough.
Mike.
Sorry. I think we should do more of that. I don't think there is enough. There are certain initiatives in place. We are collaborating, for instance, with GTTP. We are supporting them. And I think we need to see more of that in order to attract youngsters into the sector, but also to make them future ready for the careers.
So, Anne, how does the GTTP help bridge what's missing between schools and the professional world?
Well, we are a Business and Education Alliance. We work very closely with industry, and I think one of the things we can do to really engage these young people and make them think a little bit more laterally, perhaps, than they are, is the way we educate them. It's very experiential, so they go out and they look at the industry and they find out how it works and they experience it for themselves, and I think that's very enriching for them. We also look at the teachers, because so many of the education staff, they've just been asked to teach this in their schools, but they've had no training themselves. So we train our teachers in delivering our curriculum so they have a better and a broader understanding of what it's all about and how they can deliver it and how they can excite these young people. It's a fantastic industry to work in, and we've got to get that message across to our youth and to show them what it's like. And using role models, using people who can really show that pathway is very important. A part
You
of
can
that
check
process.
it?
Pardon?
You can check it afterwards?
Well, I try.
Jean-Michel, I've said you're professor in the Sorbonne. So among all academics disciplines, how strong is tourism education in volume and recognition?
First of all, Christian, thank you very much for having me in the panel. Just a few seconds to introduce myself, because I'm newcomers for this panel and this society. I define myself as a tour operator for educational tourism. It means, like, as a professor with the student and we are creating learning experiences, co-creating learning experiences. And as professors, we do have the science arts to do and finding new things. For what I see, what I feel is like we get something like couples of 10,000 students per year in the higher education in France, in hospitality, about the same thing in tourism. The recognition is quite good from the Ministry of Education, for instance, and all the national entities. Perhaps the weakness I can see is tourism science does not exist by itself. Basically, it's application of many different sciences from management, marketing, sociology, geography, and so it means like it's difficult to get the budget specifically for tourism and tourism education, at least for France.
So have you seen an evolution in the profile of students joining your master's programs in background, motivation, skills?
That's a good question. Evolution there was, evolution there will be as well. Probably what's common from the past up to the future is that tourism is attracting people, attracting talents who both want to travel for life as well as getting a job locally, which is, I think, it's one of the big markers for the industry. The second one, for the master degree, it means the motivation is pulled by the willingness to work in team. Probably the main characteristic I can see within the students. The main challenge we see all together nowadays is about the skills. Some of them we know how to learn to make them get used by the user. For example, critical thinking or leadership. That's quite common for decades. The problem is the mixed skills we will have to develop with AI and hospitality, AI and tourism, or, for example, controlling people in distance with cloud computing. So that's a big challenge for the future.
And which competencies you develop in tourism courses that could serve the other sectors?
Good question.
I have mentioned one, care.
At master level, from what most of the students I can see is growing from operational background, most of them, and merging them, crystallizing them was more IT skills, understanding about the infrastructure, the value chain of the industry, and digital actors. I think that's the point in the future, as well as the one you've mentioned, of course.
Yeah, okay. And could a early year tourism student that you are caring and that you are looking at, could their curriculum evolve to better prepare them for advanced studies and for industry needs?
Yes, most definitely it could. I mean, I think we started that earlier age group again, but we put in core competencies. You know, sustainability is such a big part of the industry, and it's not taught very often in school setting. So ensure we've got those core competencies covered, and ensure that they get out and they actually visit the industry and they experience the industry, because that's such a positive thing for them to do. And I think also how we measure the outcomes, rather than putting them through a set of exams. For example, I know in France, our GTTP students in France, they put together a portfolio with some reflective skills in there, some critical thinking skills in there, and that all helps them prepare for their next stage, should they be going into further education rather than... but also, if they're going straight into work, I think those skills can transfer into the workplace as well.
Good. And Nejc, could this better alignment of education and skills help address the global shortage of work for this sector, for tourism?
Yes, absolutely. I also want to say one of the key challenges that came out from our interview process for the research project was that employers don't think that youngsters have enough practical skills. So we have to work on internships. You know, I met this girl in the reception today when I left the hotel, and she works 2 days a week in the reception, and she studies for the rest of the time, which I think is a great combination of, you know, getting real-life exposure to hospitality, but then also, you know, learning skills at the university. So we need to see more of that. And also updating curriculum is very important, as you mentioned, with the latest skills and trends.
No, thank you. Now let's hear from those who embody the future, and please welcome our two Sorbonne students.
Zoé and Alexa. Yes.
So, first of all, I want you to introduce yourself, and we can go with you first.
So, hello. Yes. My name is Zoe Rischuker. It's working now. Okay. I'm currently doing a master's degree in tourism and hospitality management. I'm passionate about sustainability in hospitality, and this is why I'm doing my studies at IRES.
Hi everybody, I'm Alexis, I'm 21. So same as Zoe, I'm doing a master's degree, but in the first year in hospitality. And the past 4 years I was in data and finance, so it's very interesting. I guess. And I would like to create my hostel somewhere in the world, maybe more hostel, but I will see.
You have ambition.
Yeah.
That's good. First of all, we'd like to see a video that you have prepared with your fellow student, and then we can show the video first.
Tourism can help us live better together. Tourism can educate people, create bridges between people. So
the role of tourism is connect people between them.
The tourism will never stop.
C'est un véritable avenir. The tourism will play an important role in connecting cultures and supporting local economies.
I believe that tourism can really help us to improve our understandings about our world, our environment, and of course, each culture and each other.
Pour aider à prendre conscience de la crise climatique.
Today we have the power to change the mind of the tourists.
It will focus more on sustainability and helping people discover the world in a respectful and responsible way.
We have the key and we have to change that.
Alors moi j'imagine le tourisme de demain comme une force positive.
I think that the future of tourism will be full of promises and challenges.
Il va évoluer de plusieurs manières.
With the data managing, especially with the AI.
With the rise of social networks and artificial intelligence.
Government and industry professionals will work together to build a more sustainable model.
People will travel and stay in the place longer.
One point important is why we go so far. Maybe we have to encourage the tourism of proximity.
Why do I want to work in the tourism industry? Yeah, it's really simple.
I wanted to work in the tourism industry because I enjoy meeting people from different places and making their experience memorable.
I want to work in tourism because I want people to feel like they're at home, even though they're away from home.
It's because I love my islands, Tahiti and its islands, and I would like to contribute to the development of my islands.
À peu près tout ce que j'aime, les rencontres, l'organisation, la culture.
Les études à l'IRES et le tourisme en général me permettent d'avoir un échange culturel varié.
Changes the way you see the world.
I want to work in tourism because I think it's important to keep in touch the human relation and not only the internet and all this stuff.
And yeah, I want to work in this field to help create those kind of moments and experiences that bring people closer and make the world a bit more open and kind.
Je veux avoir un impact surtout sur le futur et j'ai envie d'en faire partie.
I like to ask you the same questions. Why are you wanting to work for tourism in the future?
To meet new peoples, to create experiences, to discover new places and rediscover our own places.
And you, Alexei?
I love traveling, and the main thing about that is to just meet other cultural and other people from other countries. And I think it's the main reason for me just to work in tourism, to share my culture with other people, and yeah, for the rest of my life.
When we prepared this session with you, you told me that you began your studies, your university study, academic studies, in data analysis. Why changing?
Yeah, so it's a bit surprising. So I have a bachelor degree in data and a master in finance and insurance, but well. And 2 years ago, 2 years and a half, I started to travel alone around Europe in a lot of countries. And I discovered the concept of hostel. It was unknown for me. And the first night, I knew that I wanted to create my hostel. And at this time, it was strange because I was in internship for 2 years as a data analyst in Lyon. And I discovered to work in the office. And no, it wasn't for me. And I need speak with people and not to be in front of a computer all of my day. And yeah.
So it's you change your mind, I didn't.
Yeah. And maybe in the next years my mind will change, but I hope I'm open for everything right now. But I think it's the first time in my life that I have a goal, and I want to work in a field, in a specific field.
And what about you, though? You began with management, accounting?
Yes, accounting. I had the same experience that Alexis. I did some internship, for example, in human resources, and I was missing something. So I think the fact of connecting with people creates something real, have an experience, and I refine this in tourism and in the hospitality industry especially.
To you both, one question, because we can begin with you, Alexei. What does excite you most about working in tourism today? Why today? Because do you forecast that tourism is going to change, or are you happy with tourism as it is today?
As we saw, everybody here from today and yesterday, this industry is very challenging and with high risk, by the way. But I want something challenging in my life, and the fact that everything, I think it's possible in tourism in the next decade. So, yeah, for me this is the reason, because it's challenging.
How about you, Suri?
I agree. I think it's really important to have some challenge in life and to have a goal. So I like to improve and have new interests, and tourism is changing every day. So.
And last question, but not least, do you see yourself in the industry in 10 years from now, and what role would you play? That's a very difficult question.
Yeah. Yeah, on hostels.
Except hostels, maybe.
I think that I will work in hospitality, but as a owner, and with the goal to put my vision of tourism and to create something that represents myself in hospitality.
Why not applying to Accor, for instance?
I'm sorry?
Why not are you applying to Accor?
Oh.
Or Marriott or Intercontinental? Big ones.
I think that I won't be the owner of.
There is something more than being an owner.
Why don't you want to be a leader? And I think that I could be a leader. I'm not a leader right now, but I could be a leader, and I believe in me, and I want to take the risk. If it don't work, it's okay. I will move in the industry as an employee.
I have the same question for you, Zoe, but it's different. Your point of view is different, I know.
No, I understand what he's saying. You don't have. You can have your own decision. You are the master of your of your destiny. But I'm not sure about what I want to do with my life after, to be really honest. But I think I will work with the different opportunities, and we'll see.
So I have a question, but you need not to listen to Jean-Michel. If you could change one thing about how tourism is taught or perceived, what would you do? What would it be?
That to work in tourism is difficult, and that right now I think the image of tourism is a field that is like pollution, is bad for the planet and everything, and it's like what people discussed here is to change this mentality, and that people could travel sustainable.
Okay, and you, Zoe? something to change in the way you are taught tourism in the Sorbonne, of course.
In 10 years?
No, now?
No.
If you would change something, suggest something, maybe.
What would I change? It's a huge question. Maybe a different way of traveling, not improve the train station and I don't know. Use less footprint carbon and.
Okay, and you, Jean-Michel, what would you change in the way you are teaching tourism?
Well, that's for sure a difficult question. I guess I think the most difficult thing is we need to teach something that we don't know. And in the past, it was the case. Like all the jobs, like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, people say, well, I don't know what kind of job I will have and whatever, but we can still train them for skills. Probably what's changing nowadays is like we don't even know which tool we are going to use because the AI is going to revolutionize completely the way education is processed. So that makes things difficult, and how to include more, to have the AI helping us, all of us, in learning for the future.
So I'd like you, the three experts, to answer a question after listening to the students. After hearing these new voices, can we and how can you, in fact, re-enchant, but we collectively, re-enchant the attractiveness of tourism careers?
I agree with you. Like, I'm pretty sure that the tourism industry is quite special. You can be as big as hundreds of thousands of employees in company, or be your sole entrepreneur and be by yourself a leader controller. So that's really attracting people. The second one is like you can work everywhere in the world, including at home. It's very special for this industry. So that's probably the two things really attracting people. The rest you can change. Like you can be in a restaurant, working in a restaurant, can be working in a hotel, you can be working as a guide, tourist guide. It's basically the same thing.
What about you, Han?
Well, do you know what I'm remembering? We hold a student conference every year, and we ask our students to produce a piece of research. And last year, we asked them to produce research which showed how social media can be used to attract talent to travel and tourism. And we got some really interesting results. And one of the things that stood out for me was influencers. Go and find influencers. They will attract us more than anything else. And it was something that perhaps we as educators hadn't really even considered, but finding strong influencers will benefit young people wanting to come into the industry.
Nejc, you have
I think we have to
comments?
change the outward branding overall and also highlight opportunities that are available, including leadership roles in the future. And we have to really make sure that students from a very young age understand that there's clear career pathway in travel and tourism, and highlight positive stories. There are many people who joined, through lower skill jobs, and then they progress to higher roles. So we have to highlight all of these opportunities.
Okay, Alexis, Zoe, do you agree? Is it enough?
Yeah, it's three points of view, quite similar, but different at the same time. And yeah, but I'm just a student. I'm just discovering the tourism industry right now. But like you said, yeah, I think, yeah.
You're convinced, in fact. Your conviction is high.
Oh, okay.
And Zoe?
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I think it's the way of thinking and the way of see the different, like on the social networks, it can be bad, but it's not always, we can see different things.
And do you fear AI?
No.
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 Definitely.
For me, tourism will evolve with data, and every industry should use data. But AI will help the big companies in the tourism industry, But like for small company, I'm not sure that it will be useful.
And Zoe?
For this one, I disagree. I think AI is a tool, like another one. I think at the beginning of internet, it was different, and people was not really happy with it. And so, if we educate people about AI, it can be a really great tool, and not. It's not like a new job. It's another thing.
Okay, thank you. Education is not only about learning skills. It's about finding meaning. You told them you have meaning. You have really convictions, and we thank you for that. And hopefully, if you can convince your colleague, it could be very interesting. I want the students to climb and to join us, all the students of the picture, because you collaborated, all of you, to this session.
Other way around.